This Barracuda has had the same owner for over 20 years and has been repainted in Plymouth's light turquoise. The 273 cubic inch V8 was rebuilt with a few upgrades and is mated to the stock 3-speed TorqueFlite transmission. It was assembled at Chrysler's Hamtramck, Michigan main plant and was delivered to and sold new by Corwin Churchill Chrysler Plymouth in Fargo, North Dakota on June 20th, 1967. It started out gold with a white soft top. And from the original window sticker, we know it was spec'd with a black and white interior, power steering, and a tinted windshield. Little is known about the car's whereabouts until the year 2001, when it presumably came into the state and ended up in Hayward, California. It was then sold to another owner who in 2002 had an appraisal for a loan where it was described as a 2-owner car at that point. That owner kept the car in Alameda, California before she moved to El Sobrante, where the current owner purchased the car in March of 2003. The 273 cubic inch V8 suffered from uneven compression back in 2009 and was rebuilt with 9.5:1 compression and bored 20 thousandths over. It was upgraded with an Edelbrock LD4B intake manifold topped with a 500 CFM Edelbrock carburetor. Also, pointless electronic ignition, a new starter, water pump, fuel pump, and alternator. The work was carried out by Classics by Steve of Emeryville, California, and approximately 9,000 miles have been added since. Also, the hood and engine compartment should be body color. These were probably painted black, and the first color changed to turquoise prior to 2000. The front seats were recovered in 2012. Here's a close-up of a mark on the passenger seat. The gauges were removed, cleaned, and the speedo was rebuilt in 2009. The speedo cable and fuel sending unit were replaced in 2014. Later that year, the dash was removed to address a faulty instrument cluster voltage regulator. The central vacuum economy gauge and the stock fuel gauge are not functional. The top of the dash is excellent. Under the dash, there's an auxiliary fuel gauge that's more accurate than the stock gauge, but drops to 0 with around half a tank. And the rear seat side armrests are a little wonky. lights. The zip-in rear window was replaced in September of 2023. There are a few spots on the top that could benefit from some cleaning. Also, a new convertible top boot cover was made in 2023. With the matte and tire cover removed, you can see the paint on the trunk floor probably dates back to the first color change before the year 2000. And some surface rust and evidence of water on the upper floor is visible. The spare tire well is solid. The windshield was replaced in 2012, and all of the glass is in excellent shape. This small rock chip is the only notable imperfection. All of the weather stripping was replaced after the most recent repaint in 2021. Wheels and tires. These are 14-inch steel wheels with 205/60 R14 Federal Formosa FD1 tires showing 2010 date codes. In 2009, the front brakes were upgraded to discs. In 2010, the bulk of the suspension was addressed, with shocks all the way around, a new front sway bar, upper and lower ball joints, an idler arm, inner and outer tie rod ends, a pitman arm, new rear springs, and all new bushings. The muffler was replaced in 2014. The fuel tank was replaced in 2009. On the road, this Barracuda looks flawless, but with any driver, there are bound to be a few imperfections. The recent repaint was spurred by a collision in 2021, and work was done to the front end, right front fender, and passenger door. Rust was also repaired in the right rear quarter and lower rear apron. And as a result of the work done, there are no dings, creases, rock chips, or large scratches to speak of. And the chrome is excellent. That said, there's a tiny wrinkle at the rear valance seam. And there are a couple of cracks on the deck behind the rear window. Check out the auction gallery for a closer look at over 20 years of records and paperwork. Turn that cell phone off, drop the top, and hit the road. This 1967 Barracuda might be the time machine you've been looking for.